Hello YouTube, iFixItAll here, Team iFixItAll. Got caught up in some YouTubery lately about Armored BX. People cutting it. Using hacksaws. Left hand, right hand, straight, side cutters, you name it. There's a way to do that. Armored BX. I'm not sure, there's a lot of different... There's a few things people call it, but it's what I know it by. Armored BX. Let me hang on, guys. Alrighty. That was dinner call. So what we've got is Armored BX. Generally, that could have. Get out of here, bug. I'm not real sure how many conductors you can find this stuff in. I'm sure it could be so let's talk about that for a minute. When you buy wire, sometimes I end up babbling a lot because I'm maybe sharing what I know, but also doing stuff. But when you buy wire, when they say conductor, they actually mean how many wires are there besides ground? This is 2 conductor Armored BX. There's 3 wires, but conductor. So why do they call the neutral a conductor? Well, the hot leg delivers your power, and perhaps you have 2 hot legs and a neutral. The neutral would carry back any unused or wrong wording. You got 2 hot legs and a neutral. If there's an imbalance between the 2 hot legs, let's say there's a difference between what one leg is pulling versus the other leg, the remainder of that current will flow back on the neutral. And at your main panel board, and more technically and more correct, bonded at the meter socket, your neutral and your ground come together on one common point. Your neutral should never be bonded anywhere else. A lot of times in home applications where you don't have a main disconnect, your main panel board has a main breaker and that's your only main disconnect, then that's where you'll find your neutral bar is bonded to your ground bar. In commercial applications, it's at the meter socket. You'll find that neutral and the ground bonded, and downstream you'll find the neutral bar is separate from your ground bar, separate from your hot distribution breakers. But anyway, that's 2 conductor Armored BX. Alright, so I was running across some YouTubery today and yesterday and the day before. I have no idea how this happened to me. Sometimes my feed just goes crazy with stuff I've never even looked up. Okay. One guy who has a channel that has some sort of electrical name to it. Never mind calling out names. But he's literally showing you how to use a hacksaw to carefully cut through these. And this is a literally wound up 1/2 inch wide steel that's wound up in a spiral and molded in such a way where it overlaps. Take a look, see. So I understand when someone says, how do I cut this so I can put a connector on it? My wires just happen to be sticking through. A lot of times these will come from the factory where you have, instead of a plastic cover, right here, plastic protection, it'll be paper. I would say avoid the paper rendition of this Armored BX, but it might be cheaper. Anyway, this is called a roto split. And there is a cutting wheel. Can you see the cutting wheel that pops out right here? There's a handle here that moves this little tab. Fully adjustable. This handle comes apart. There's a spare cutting wheel inside the storage hand. The handle has those 3 little holes in there. There's a spare cutting disc inside there. So I'm just going to use the tool and show you something. As you use the tool, you squeeze and turn this, and it's real hard at first, and then it gets real easy. When it gets easy, you're done. You can set the depth of the wheel because there is an adjustment screw right here that adjusts a stopper that's down in there. That prevents you from squeezing that too much, which prevents the wheel from going in too deep into the Armored BX. So right now I've got this adjusted perfectly, and I shouldn't need a pair of pliers, but I'm going to get them as a backup. All right, so what you do is lay your Armored BX in there, like I'm doing. Squeeze this handle, and that should be to where it's holding it steady. I like to adjust it a little bit, so when I squeeze, there we go. You gotta squeeze all this together at once, and I'm done, because it got real easy. No damage to the wires. It didn't even cut through the plastic. Do it again. I'm going to give you some better action on this. See the wheel popping through? The cutoff wheel in there. There's a spare wheel inside the handle. And the adjustment screw right there is a little flathead. And it is derby-derby-doo. Give you a background. There it is. Maybe I can see it better on the other side. Yeah, there's a screw head in there that bumps. That screw head is the stop for adjusting how deep that wheel goes. So pay attention to your tool as far as its design. I'm holding this crooked for a reason because I got to get in there. I really want to show you guys that. The depth on these is critical. Let's see. There we go. And it'll stop that wheel. That looks awfully deep when you compare it to the thickness of that Armored BX, but since it's round and you're chopping against a theoretical flat, even though it's ribbed for everyone's pleasure. No, I shouldn't have said that. It's ribbed in such a way the roundness is only going to go just so deep because part of the radius of the wheel is the only thing catching. When you get this hand tool adjusted correctly, you should never need to touch it again. The only thing you should have to monitor is my cutting disc getting worn out. This part here, again, just kind of secures the BX from moving around. So you grab that and this as a group, and not only are you holding the BX, the BX steady, but you're also squeezing this pivot point. One more time. It's too easy. I'm done. I mean, I may or may not need pliers. I don't know what happened there. Oh, yeah, there we go. I was goofing up. Came off easy as pie. I'm just going to keep on. I'll just do one or two more. This is a tool made in USA. Now to put the connector on, you need an anti-short. These are called Red Bastards. Armored BX anti-short. And I recommend you leave the plastic or the paper on. This is split down the side. It's required by code. If you're going to use this, you better have these. And then you got to, the proper word is you got to fight these down, these little red bastards down inside the Armored BX best you can. This is because it's flared in such a way it protects the wires from arcing with the sharp edge you just created. But none of your metal's malformed. You're not going in with a hacksaw and needle nose and side cutters and trying to reshape it back. And then your task as an electrician next is to peel this plastic back and cut it off, which I'm not going to do for this particular thing here. And then your fitting will go on. And what you'll do is you're going to need to put your fitting on in such a way to where the inspection window, that's what this slot is on the connector. There's a slot right there. Tighten that up. Where your red anti-short is visible through the inspection port. That's what they require you to do. I don't like it myself because I would rather push it all the way in, but all of these armored fittings have a inspection port to see if you used the armored BX anti-short. This particular straight fitting that I used, I may or may not have the right size for this Armored BX because it's way too much tightening. If you got to tighten it up that much, you've got the wrong fitting. But a lot of times it's amazing how much screw is sticking out on these things. A lot of times when you tighten these screws up. So here's a 90-degree fitting. And what you do with those is you just form your wire to complement the 90. You have a little cover here. It's key weight on the top. It hooks in. And you got an inspection window there so you can see the little anti-short. I'll button these screws up here and I'll show you. It's frustrating when I didn't even want to run into these videos. I didn't care to watch Armored BX videos. And then I saw people saying this is the way you do Armored BX. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're going to cause issues in the future. If you nick the insulation on the hot leg inside here, I didn't get her all the way tight. Your inspector is going to want to make sure he can see the anti-short. If you need to get this stuff inspected, depending on what you're doing. I'm just trying to say that if you're cutting Armored BX with a hacksaw or side cutters, you are wrong. If you're cutting Armored BX with the tool designed to cut it with, you are right. Do you want to continue to be wrong? That's up to you. So the inspection hole, you can see the Armor BX anti-short. Let's take a second and talk about the nuts we put on. All right, so let's take a look at these nuts. These nuts go on like that. Not like that. What do we mean by go on? Let me get a junction box. And there is a J-box in my future here. Set you guys back up here. See if I can knock the shit out of it. Great, not working there. That's a hell of a tough box too. That's one of the older ones. There we go. Oh boy, it's starting to tighten up on me already. I don't want to do that. I just want to show you which way the nut goes. Some of these nuts are flat, but just for this purpose here, we'll show you that the sharp prongy sides face the junction box. This one happens to be directional. It's a type of nut that all of the little paws need to be up against the steel work of the junction box. All right. So that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to tell you guys that there is a tool for that. It's not, if you're making one or two cuts, fine, do what you want. But if you're going to be doing a lot of this, own this tool. It's not an expensive tool. and it does the job. It does it right. This is another type of armored BX, but this has a this is 3 conductor. It's got a red, black, and a white, and a green. Although I have the red trimmed back real deep back on this end for some reason. I don't know why. Interesting. I must have needed a red conductor for something. All right, so that's how you really are supposed to cut armored BX. All right, guys, talk to you later. See ya.